podcast. Podcast.
Podcast.
That was really good.
That was
Yeah, you guys
I think that was
fucking nailed that.
the coolest thing we've ever done.
I'm proud of us.
We just wanted to let you guys know that today is going to be an extra rowdy podcast. We have the maddest of lads here. We have
the Northwestern dad himself.
The Thornsberry.
No.
Nigel Jordan Thornsberry the Third.
Hello.
The Goose.
The Goose.
They're going to call me the Gooch for some reason.
That's
That's
what we call you behind your back.
Why?
I'm just kidding. We never do that.
Uh-huh.
We say nice things about you.
So just to clarify, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, make sure to subscribe. I am Scooter.
I'm Kiwi.
I'm Tate.
And our guest today is Jordan Thornquest. That's his real name.
I don't have to talk if you want to keep talking for me.
You know what? I could just say the words and then use sign language.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
That'd be pretty cool, yeah.
Do you want to just
I mean,
translate
the camera's
for me?
recording right now too, so.
Oh yeah, but that's for our Patreon only.
That's right.
VIP.
Jordan's like, where's the fucking
Yeah,
camera?
I was like, where do I look? Help!
It's the invisible cameras that we have all over our house
like-
at all times.
I like the idea of saying like we have a camera and pretending like we have a camera the whole time, but there's literally no camera going, so people are like, oh, they forgot to record the film.
I
No.
always like watching people's body language change when they realize they're on camera because
Yeah.
I feel like there's some people who can just be themselves when they know that the camera's watching. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I feel like a lot of people, they'll like shift in some way. It's
They'll
even
straighten
like
up,
they'll straighten out. They'll get really nervous, like they don't know what
I'll
to
suck
say.
Their
my
voice
gut in.
changes.
Yeah.
Suck
Oh,
your
it's
gut in.
it's kind of like how I don't plan for like the front-facing camera to be on when I
Yeah.
turn the camera on. I'm like, oh fuck, it's my fucking face.
It's always
Jesus.
double chin in bed, like
my
angry.
God.
Like you look
Yeah.
angry. Why is my face always angry? I don't
Hi.
know.
Yeah.
It's like the hi.
I like immediately
Again, a
shift.
visual joke.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Fuck, I forgot to pray before I got on here.
Oh my God, you didn't pray?
no.
We didn't bless the podcast.
Shit.
We didn't bless the podcast.
All right, guys, we got to bless the podcast.
right.
Everybody close your eyes.
Wait, no, I can't. I'm atheist. Can you
That's
guys
fine.
do it without me?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll pray for you to get
We'll pray
over
for
that.
you. Yeah, we'll pray for you to join
Okay.
us.
Should I just close my eyes or
We'll
what
join
do I
hands.
do?
Yeah,
We'll
just
join
to be
hands.
polite.
I'm
like
not
you.
joining hands. I'm atheist. It's against my religion.
I'll just grab your leg. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
Oh.
just grab his, touch his leg.
Oh, that's really close. That's high. That's high up the thigh.
I was about to make
The
a
cameras are
Catholic-
recording this, Jordan.
On top
Oh,
of
I know.
smoking.
This is for the Patreon people. You pay
Shake
extra
my
for
head to
this.
laugh, and you notice there's just a red flashing light behind me. It's like, oh shit, it was behind.
That is one thing I love about doing podcasts without video is
Oh my
that
God, yeah.
you can always like make lies. You can
Yeah.
create an entire improv scenario.
Like the entire bit with you taking off your pants on the
Right.
last one.
As far as the
What?
audience is concerned, we're nude.
Yeah.
I'm really
You guys aren't
stoked.
nude?
I'm really stoked that Margaret
Wait, what the
Thatcher is
fuck?
sitting in with us today.
Margaret Thatcher.
Wait.
We
The
didn't
ghost
get-
of
we didn't-
Margaret Thatcher?
We didn't
She's
get her a
here.
microphone, but I mean she's a pretty quiet guest anyways.
I don't
Margaret
think
Thatcher's
ghosts can
always
talk
with
very
me in
well.
spirit.
Yeah.
Did you see the article about her that was going around? I think it was today or yesterday, but it was just the headline read, Margaret Thatcher was apparently afraid of anal sex in the 1980s. Like it was just a fact that people had about her. And then everyone just retweeted it and said, did J.K. Rowling write this?
That's
Wow.
amazing. That's amazing.
Okay, first off, I like the idea that Margaret Thatcher was vocal about her fear of anal sex.
She not only felt that way, but she had to express that
Yeah,
at
she's
some
like,
point.
I don't like it. I
Even
don't like
having an
it.
opinion about anal sex is hilarious.
There's no way that wasn't like a private thing, and then people were just like, they have to know everything about her.
Yeah.
They have to
Yeah.
they have to release. It's like when an artist dies, and they released all the shitty demos they were working on because everyone needs it, you know?
Right.
It's like, what's the weirdest fact we can give about Margaret Thatcher?
Yeah.
Doesn't like anal sex. All right, let's be
This is
vocal against
That's
it.
good enough for me.
Anti-butt stuff.
So they're like,
I'm coming out hardline anti-butt stuff, anti-socialism and anti-butt stuff.
Can't-
Margaret Thatcher, how funny would it be? Also, I'm not sure what Margaret Thatcher looks like. In my head,
can't
I just
remember
see Meryl Streep.
You guys don't know about Margaret? I mean, she looks a lot like
I just
Meryl
think of
Streep.
Marilyn
Well,
Manson.
Meryl Streep played Margaret Thatcher in the movie.
Marilyn Manson. Okay, she's kind of a combo. Yeah. Somewhere in between.
She looks like Marilyn Manson, but isn't into butt stuff.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm sorry for anybody who likes Marilyn Manson.
I think people who like Marilyn Manson are totally fine with him being into butt stuff. Actually.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know
Probably
why
pretty
anybody
sex
should be.
positive.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, I've never seen a person more absolutely into butt stuff. You can tell. You can see it. It's just up there.
Is
See it
that
on
thing
his face.
about his ribs true, or is that just like?
I don't think so. Well,
I don't.
Tate did a lot of fucking research
Yeah,
into it.
resident Marilyn Manson expert Tate over here, please.
Tate's like, no, I got my ribs removed. I can't reach.
the rumor was from 1934, and it was based around the fact that somebody removed their rib to suck their own dick. Marilyn Manson heard this, attempted it, and then became deformed, and then was CGI'd in every other release of him in video.
Oh.
A lot of people don't know that.
This is also like a history podcast. We're like, what's that one fucking history podcast?
Chapo Trap House,
Yeah, Chapo Trap
Chapo
House.
Trap House,
Yeah.
Cumtown. It's the history podcast.
The history
What?
podcast.
The history of
yeah.
Cumtown.
Hey, we don't mention Cumtown
Yeah,
on this
no.
podcast.
That's a bad word.
Yeah, it's
Cum.
Cum is a bad word.
Cum is a bad word. You know, I didn't hear the word cum until I was like 17.
Same.
What?
Yeah.
What did you think nutting was?
I think it was just ejaculate. It was like
Yeah.
the
That's
scientific.
worse. That's a worse
unsexy
word. I don't
oh,
like
it is
that.
worse.
I
Like, would you
know.
say that during? You'd be like,
I have ejaculated, darling.
That bit is so old. Like the whole just calling cum something completely different, but it never stops being funny to me.
Oh my
Just
God.
like calling it like, or just the process of climaxing. It's just calling it
Conclude.
something weird. Conclude. Yeah, that's another good one.
Conclude.
You haven't heard that? Yeah.
where do you want me to conclude?
Conclude. Yeah, that's an old bit. I love how Kiwi.
I'm gonna
fucking-
give you
Visceral
my
response.
Kiwi shrunk to the size of a grape when that
She
happened.
didn't like it.
Powerful conclusion.
What about this one? I'm gonna give you my man chowder.
Oh.
What about
I don't
baby
like that.
batter?
No, because I don't like it.
That's a bad one. The
That's a
ba-
bad
the
Baby batter's
batter.
bad because man chowder I hate
That one
because
hit me.
it sounds chunky. I don't like that.
No, I don't like chunky.
Man chowder.
I don't think
Steven
anyone likes
Crowder.
chunky.
I'm a something.
I'm a doubter.
my
I'm
God.
a doubter. Man chowder. Steven Crowder. I'm a
Spice.
doubter, and I'm feeling like
Buy
I
it, use it.
That's a really good that's a good joke for the crossover of Group Love and Steven Crowder fans.
Yeah, you
That's
know,
really-
I'm trying to go right down middle America here. Like, my bits are just right for just mainstream,
Yeah.
9 to 5.
Scooter really knows how to bring in everybody.
I know, yeah.
He's
yeah.
inclusive.
He's
Yeah,
an inclusive
exactly.
comedian.
We're in
He doesn't offend it. He's the centrist comedian. He doesn't
Yes.
exclude anybody.
that'd be hard.
Are there
I
centrist
noticed that you were
comedians?
wearing a Pink Floyd shirt, and I was in an Uber with a guy just recently who we were just talking about music, you know, because you're supposed to talk to your Uber driver,
Yeah.
and we were just
Contractually obligated.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just there's an expectation, like
Yeah,
one of
definitely.
you guys starts the conversation, or you get like a 3-star review.
Yeah,
Right.
pretty much.
So we were just listening to music, and Pink Floyd comes on, and I was like, "Oh, I love Pink Floyd." Like trying to kind of bring up something. He's like, "Oh, dude, I used to grow up listening to them all the time. I don't really like their new stuff, though. I don't like how political they got." I was like, "Are you serious?" First of all, everything's political.
Yeah.
Second, got
God, yeah.
they've always been political.
Yeah,
What did
what?
he think fucking Pink? What did he think Animals was about?
I
thought
wanted
it
to
was
ask him,
about
what's
just
your
a group
favorite
of-
Pink Floyd album?
Oh, Animals, totally. I liked how it was. Welcome to the Machine starts playing. He's like, I really like this song. It's not political at all, you know. It's like it's kind of easy listening.
Yeah, right.
This
You
is
know,
like-
I like the Dead Kennedys, but
I only like their music when I could fucking get stoned and just listen to it, you
Yeah.
know, because now I can't do that. So
before
their new
I
music
thought
sucks.
about it, for like a second, it was all good.
It's like all the right wingers that are like, this is simply Orwellian. I'm like, you guys,
I've never heard
you
that
guys
in my life.
stop. Please think about it for 5 seconds.
You've never heard someone like reference like, "Oh, this is straight up 1984."
It's
No, I don't hang out with
1984.
I don't hang out with my grandparents. My
Uh,
grandparents. I don't hang out with people my grandparents' age.
You mean people who read books? There's no one in your family.
No one reads.
books.
I don't read books. What the fuck are you talking about? What
Yeah.
are books?
What's the last book you read?
Oh, shit. It was probably. I definitely started Hitchhiker's Guide last year, and I really like it. But it's been a while since I read a whole book. I realized that the other day. I was just like, God, I need to read more books.
Yeah, no,
Reading
the last
books
one.
is hard.
It's
Yeah, go ahead.
it's hard.
No, I had nothing.
Physically, mentally.
The last
just a
book I
challenge.
read, well, I usually read a couple books simultaneously. But
wow.
I do. But usually it's fine because I usually read like a nonfiction book and then
Okay.
like a history book, and then I'll also like reread like a fiction book that I've read a million times that I like. That's like a familiar place.
Gotcha.
So I'm rereading Rant by Chuck Palahniuk for like the 5th time.
Nice.
And then I just finished reading Hammer and Hoe about the U.S. Communist Party after the Dust Bowl.
Oh,
And-
hey, what, take it easy on the on the C word.
The
It's just a
Failchildren
historical
podcast
book.
was pretty good before it got political.
And then I just finished reading probably a month ago. I just finished reading Bullshit Jobs, which is really
yeah.
good, and everybody can enjoy it, even if you don't like politics. It's barely even anti-capitalist propaganda.
Barely.
Barely, only
Wow,
hardly.
it's just
Barely.
it's just under the line.
I kind of
Yeah.
stopped doing the whole reading multiple books at the same time thing because I used to read, like, especially whenever I was a teenager, I read a lot of fantasy and a lot of like
Oh, yeah.
just like adventure stories. And because fantasy's all the same, I would often get the plot mixed up.
Yeah.
So
I was about to ask, did
Yeah,
you ever
yeah.
get it mixed up, or like, did you ever be like, oh wow, I thought this character had like the best sword in the
no,
fucking
exactly.
world? Like,
It would be shit like that where I'd be like,
Why
wait a
is he
minute, weren't they dating? And then I was like, oh fuck, that's the other book. Like it's just it was legitimately like I would, because I would usually read late at night to that
Yeah.
point where it's like it's like twilight and I'm basically almost asleep, so everything is
Yeah.
very, very vivid while I'm reading it. So it's very
Yeah.
much like I loved reading at night because it felt like I could actually focus on what I was reading. Like there
Oh,
weren't
yeah.
any other things I had to worry about.
I'd get lost reading at night.
Yeah.
See,
Like,
no,
for
I don't
hours.
read at night. I just like to close my eyes and go on insane hallucinations and spiraling journeys towards hell. Is that what happens when you guys close your eyes before you go to bed at night?
I legitimately have a question about that. So I was listening to another podcast and a gentleman was talking about how he used to smoke weed all the time and he didn't dream while he was on weed, like just when he was using
Yeah.
drugs. And then when he stopped doing so, he started having crazy vivid. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Dude,
I describe it as a podcast instead of a
Yeah.
let's play, so people take me more
Yeah.
seriously.
There
Well,
you
he did
go.
talk about it on another podcast too.
Yeah, no. But I was curious. Like I've never touched drugs in my life, so my dreams have been
What
fairly
a fucking
vanilla.
narc.
I'm
Oh my
a
god.
nerd.
What a pussy.
One of your
I'm worried
co-hosts
that you're
hasn't
I'm
either.
worried you're a narc now, so you're gonna have no. I'm just kidding.
I haven't
You have to
either.
prove yourself,
Although I'm too young to be a narc.
My weirdest
I'd be
dreams
a
come from eating
devoted
pie
narc if
hole
I
at 2
was.
in the morning.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
definitely
totally.
say that when I used to smoke a lot of weed, I would have no dreams, and I definitely say that I have more vivid dreams now. But I do now take like a very very easygoing sleeping medication, which is like a blood pressure medication
Get
that
fucked
just
up.
Yeah.
Get lit.
it just
Get
makes
lit.
me very sleepy. It makes me feel like if I stand up too fast, I just get like a head rush.
I'm
That's
on
it.
one of those right now.
It's called life. It's called Jesus.
That's why you're funny.
But I don't, and I also don't dream.
It's the only reason.
But yeah, but
Still
then
in your mind.
but I don't dream really when I take those either, because I feel like it makes me fall asleep very quickly and very.
You know, that's
deeply.
just totally normal. You know, you go to bed and then you lie down and then you go on a psychedelic journey into your dreams and you go into a fantasy world, Neverland, and then you wake up and you're back into this reality and then you go again and then you go into a completely different fantasy reality, and that's just totally normal.
Do you think dreaming is like going to another dimension? That was the most.
Bro,
You see, you laugh, but that was a real joint.
oh my god, he's high.
Oh my god,
Hey, his hair's on fire. Holy shit.
dude, he's gonna go crazy.
You
He's gonna
guys,
try driving.
Get the fire extinguisher.
Get the fire extinguisher.
Guys, what if our nipples were like eyeballs and they could blink? What if our nipples blinked? What if our nipple hair is what we're gonna be
Dude,
eyelashes?
Michael's third nipple is like his third eye. Dude.
Jesus Christ.
I hate that. Now I'm picturing it the other way around.
Oh,
with
yeah.
my
Oh.
eyes. God.
You people are
like
really
people-
into eyeball tweaking.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
Can you curl your eyelashes?
No,
Have you tried?
I don't. Well, I guess my eyelashes are long enough. I could try. I never have though.
I'll curl
Yeah,
your eyelashes
Barbie-
for you.
Oh.
I have an eyelash
Terrifying.
curler. I don't like doing it.
You don't want a hot
That's
iron
freaked me
inches
out.
away from your eye?
Right?
Oh, you smell.
I am a little shaky from my blood pressure meds, but I could give it a go.
The worst thing about the nipple hair though is because it's so fucking long, you just like drape over your eyes and like fucking like flow in the wind.
What if our eyelashes grew as hair did and you had
I
to get it
hate-
trimmed? But people would have eyelash styles, so people would have like eyelash bowl cuts.
Yeah,
would
or
have,
like
like,
pigtails.
bullets.
Pigtails, little braid them like French braid for your
I would have
eyelash.
you know why-
emo sweep like the
Yeah.
Yeah, the
one
over,
eye, it's
but
one eye.
Totally.
they
one
both
eye's
go the
longer.
same direction.
Yeah. Oh my god, it makes a unibrow on your head.
Like it's short on one side, and then the other eye is just the longest lash, and it just goes over in one
Yeah.
Whatever happened to the unibrow? We need to bring that back.
The
Did
unibrow is back.
Did the unibomber?
I hate that it's back.
Is
I
the
love the
unibomber related to the unibrow in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, he had a unibrow. Well, I mean, when you're out in the fucking, when you're out in the forest for years, I imagine you'd probably grow a sick unibrow.
Did he have a unibrow? I
He
don't know
probably
what he looks like.
did. Did Ted
Unibomber,
Kaczynski
unibrow.
have a unibrow? This is the question we need to be asking right now.
I mean, that could be
Did
like
he?
a good freestyle. Like at some point, like I don't know how you'd work it in, but just like unibomber, unibrow.
Well, the unibrow or unibomber was actually like a shortened thing that people would call him. They had like a much longer one because he was born in the late 80s. He had a unibrow, and he was the Unabomber, so they called him the Unaboomer Brow.
I thought well, see, I don't know why they call him the Unabomber, so I thought he was like, oh, he's going to finally tell me. And then he goes up.
Okay, I'm looking at
That's really
pictures of
fucking
him, and if anything, he has alarmingly few eyebrow hairs.
I mean, he had to have. He had to have some motive. Like,
Yeah, he has.
That's why he did it.
He literally he has like no fucking eyebrows,
holy
bro.
shit, he doesn't.
It's like
Dude, throw
no.
up a picture of Ted Kaczynski.
Yeah,
He's
he's
kind of
like,
hot.
weird.
No.
That's a
Hey,
quote
this
that
is
I
the
don't
no.
want.
This is
Throw
the
up a picture
second.
of Ted Kaczynski.
This is the second podcast in a row where we're talking about like masculine.
You got it's Unabomber.
Wow,
Not
that's
Unibomber.
boring.
That's completely different.
See, I thought it was Unabomber. I'm like, he
I
had
did
one,
too.
Yeah.
a single bomb.
That's not it.
He was the monobomber.
I thought he was the monobomber.
No, he's the Unabomber.
Why is it Una?
What
Because
is
he went to the
uni-
University of Bombing.
But
that's you and I also.
It's where most of your favorite comedians go.
Dude, I
you got to go on a bomb tour before you can do well.
Is
Gotta
it like
mail
whenever
that-
people are joining ISIS, they're like, we're going to go on a bomb tour. It's going to be
They
great.
found out the best way. Everybody delivers their material differently. Ted Kaczynski's was by mail. You know, that's how they deliver their material.
Most bomb tours are single stops.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking God.
Dude, we're going to go on tour. It's going to be great. We're going to go to Seattle.
We're gonna go to the Postal Service building. It'll be fucking great.
Fucked it up. I fucked up the cord.
I was watching you nearly unplug my microphone several times. I was
What if
trying
I did
to
it right during the punchline? Like, boom!
Dude, we broke down right outside the USPS office. I don't know what happened. Like, we just got stopped right there. Put an end to our plans. We had to go back home.
Bunch of boring, no fun USPS.
Isn't it funny that he just got fucking tackled and that was it? Like, they found him and they just tackled him and that was it. And they found him because how much do you guys know about the Unabomber?
I know nothing. I thought he was the one bomber. I thought he had one.
I thought he had a unibrow.
When I think of, I thought he was born in the '80s. He's a Unabomber Brow.
I know nothing about him.
Wait, I was just gonna ask. So, did this is a genuine question?
Yeah.
Did the Unabomber have a bomb on him? Like, was he planning
No.
on suicide bombing, or he was just
No,
dropping?
it was all mail. He
really?
did everything by mail.
See,
And-
when you talked about tackling him, I was just
yeah. So the
feel like
weird
it's a
thing-
bad idea.
Yeah, that's why it's even weirder. So like, apparently he. So I don't remember exactly where he was for most of his life, but like for a good amount of the later part of his like sort of deal, he was in a shack in like the back, like northwest, I think, somewhere, or just like in the forest, pretty much. And he'd like come to town occasionally for food, but he was a big proponent of like the anti-technology movement, and he wrote that entire manifesto. The Unabomber.
I
Manifesto.
love manifestos. Like that word is so
The manifesto
funny
is
to
a
me.
great word. The Unabomber's manifesto. He wrote that, and the reason why they found him is because I think his brother or sister, I think it was his brother, read it, and he's like, this sounds a lot like my brother's old writings. And
Oh
they
my
looked
God.
at him, and they were just like, oh shit, this like a lot of the talking points match up and stuff like that. So they brought it up, and they were like, where is he? They found his shack somewhere, and they like knock on the door for something. The guy was like a park ranger or something like that, and he opened the door, and there was fucking police like standing by with like guns and everything. When he opened the door and turned around to grab his coat, they just fucking tackled him. And took him. That was it.
Nope.
That was the end of the Unabomber.
I don't know what you have, but we're stopping this here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going after a guy who's in a shack full of bombs, I mean, you got to be kind of careful. But like, they just tackled him and just took him away. That was it,
fascinating.
That's serious balls.
right?
What
Would
if
you
there-
ever?
Oh, go
No,
ahead.
no, I'm sorry, I keep asking questions.
I was
God,
gonna
you
say
are
something-
you were like a gay couple on the first date.
I-
No.
I was gonna say something really dumb. Ready? You
Sorry.
guys ready for it?
Yeah, ready,
Yeah.
please. Go ahead.
What if what if one of these like bomber guys wrote their manifesto and it was just like scribbled on a napkin?
In
And
crayon.
they're like, is this it? Is this the manifesto?
They get the skin-colored crayon, the tan crayon that kids used to color people's skin.
He's just like
crayon.
The
Tan crayon.
That's
and
my
then
new
and then they
band. That's my
wasted their
shoegaze
whole
band.
chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can't read it.
Yeah.
or like they try
the
to
fuck
send it
did he
to
wanna say?
or like they try to send an email and they send they do like a typo in it.
Mailer
Oh.
Damon.
Mailer Damon gets sent back by the mailer Damon. They're like, damn it.
I like to imagine like a fledgling bomber is on the beach and he's like, I'm gonna write my manifesto for where I'll bomb, and he's just got a stick and he's just writing it. And he's like, behold my manifesto, and the ocean just comes through and he's like, fuck.
I gotta do it again. He does it like it's like I'll do it deeper in the shore, and then like the tide comes in the next day. He's like, God damn it!
The world is telling me something that was it.
Maybe I
He was
shouldn't
off the
bomb
path
anything. No, I'll just write it on this napkin I found.
with a macaroni crayon.
And like it's just like a symbol on like, the ephemeral quality of life, and he's like, okay, this is fine. And then he's like, they'll just rebuild the buildings anyway. And then he turns that into his new manifesto.
Yeah.
As an architect.
Yeah, the fleeting quality of
Yeah, let's give
the
it-
human
let's give a
experience.
Story in 3
Let's give a good
Yeah.
side to a mass bomber.
This is the second time
This
in a
is
row.
gross.
Humanizing
he
the
only
Unabomber.
he only bombs. No, get the, he's
That's
the,
a good song title.
Humanize the Unabomber.
Here's the only bomber that could be like non-controversial. He bombs buildings marked for like
For demolition.
Demolition.
Oh, it's like
Why do we spend
like
the
a-
podcast
buildings
trying
keep-
to justify
it's
bombing?
like Dexter. He's like the Dexter.
Oh no.
it's like this was gonna be blown up anyway, and like and not even that. He does it like literally like 5 minutes before they go.
Yeah.
They're just or not even like they're all away. They're like 3, 2, it just goes down,
Controlled
like, what
demolition.
the hell happened? Like Gary, did you hit it? It's like no, I didn't hit it. It's
Seems
some
like a
dude
really
running
boring
over-
Batman
I like to
villain.
imagine like an episode, like an episode of MythBusters. Like they've got the thing and they're like, "All right, we're gonna blow this up 'cause this is our thing," and they're like 3, and then they just see it explode. They're like, what was that?
No, I like the
And a
idea.
man runs past and he's like, "It was me."
He's holding like the old-fashioned like the push pin thing from like the minor days. No,
Yeah, it's like
I
a plunger,
But when
yeah.
you mentioned
Cartoon.
MythBusters, I just can't unsee the idea of like Jamie and Adam. They're sweating. They're running as fast as they fucking can in a field, and they're just like, "Hey guys, we're gonna blow something up." This is the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
We're gonna blow something up. They hit it, something explodes, and they keep running. There's like police sirens and just.
What's the like when you're playing a game and like you're about to get a kill and you get the experience, but then someone else.
Yoink.
Yeah, the yoink.
It's called Yoink.
Yeah,
It's called getting yoinked.
or getting ganked.
It's like
or
so.
something like
Best
that.
example I can think of was Halo 3. When you do like executions from the back, there's an animation that plays, and I think that's where it came from mainly.
Yeah.
But like when you go to do the animation, someone can kill the person that you're about to kill, and that's called a yoink. And they
Yeah.
actually call that officially in the game.
A
Dude,
yoink.
I haven't played video games in so long. I'm so out of the loop.
That's
Yeah,
I
you
feel like such an old man.
You
Like,
were making fun of me for playing Battlefield 4.
I know, because you're a fucking loser, and I make fun of you no matter what you do.
Exactly.
it's my job as your
It's
dad.
How are we gonna have a good podcast if we're nice to each other all the time?
I have
Could
brought
you-
up. I have brought up. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just riffing off of like a respectful podcast where it's just, hello, friends.
We're
How are you
Let's talk
today?
about the Unabomber.
Yeah.
Instead, we're yelling about the Unabomber.
But no, I think I brought this up to you before. But like, you have some weird qualities that are similar to my dad, Scooter. Like,
Shut the fuck
weird
up. This is
shit.
the gayest thing you've
No,
ever
no, no,
fucking
no, no,
done.
no.
I'm
No, 'cause
sorry.
Scooter does dad shit already.
he does that.
No,
okay.
but he's like no. You're kind of right because
Yeah.
your dad is like the weird, cool dad who's not like not he's still dad though. Like
He's
he's
a
trying
cool-
to be cool.
Yeah.
He's trying to be cool. Like,
Yeah.
He makes a lot of like anti-jokes for like the fuck of saying anti-jokes. Like he doesn't say he says them because they're not because they're funny, but because he wants you to feel bad. You know, like
That's my favorite type of comedy.
I love
Yeah,
that. And like
He's so happy. Look at that face. He found a soulmate.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean because your dad is not very like
soulmate, my dad.
your dad is like not a
My
typical
are
dad.
dating now. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Wait, what'd you say?
His dad's not like a typical dad. Like he's not like my dad.
My dad's not like normal dads.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's how pornos start.
Stop, please. I don't want my dad connected to this. Apart from the fact that I already did that. Fuck, I'm so sweaty.
Whoa, whoa.
Thinking about your dad, man?
Whoa.
What?
Oh.
What?
My dad's not
Excuse
like
me.
other dads.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting.
You guys,
I really-
is
Is
it
it getting
hard
hot
to
in
breathe
here? Yeah. Is
Hey,
it,
Kaylee.
you turn the AC
I was
on?
looking
or-
for the audio reader to see if I'm too loud. It's just Ted Kaczynski's face on the computer.
This is the Unabomber. Still on the
He's disproving
computer.
of your dad crush too. Look at that
Yeah,
face.
Oh
the Unabomber does not
I don't think
seem
I don't think
very
the
happy.
Unabomber approves of much, to be honest.
Hey, Kaylee, I had a
What's up?
question for
Yeah.
you. We were talking about father-son pornography. What do,
Were we?
Yeah. We were.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
I've grabbed water.
I want to know from your perspective how you feel about kind of all this stepson, step-parent pornography and
I don't want to.
the effect on society that it may be having.
You mean like the pornography itself in a vacuum? Or?
No, I mean like the fact that it is like the second most popular style of pornography on the internet right now.
Do you think it's a new thing, or do you think it's just latent for decades, centuries, and it's just now becoming something that people are actually making porn about?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like one thing. I don't know if this is just me, like making this up, and but I think that something that might have happened is that it is a category that people are interested in because it is a taboo, and people love things that are taboo, right?
Like
You're not
Margaret
supposed
Thatcher.
to. Yeah, like Margaret Thatcher. Yeah,
I want to see that category between like.
I'm sure.
Maggie Thatch Snatch 20.
I was trying to work at Snatch.
But yeah,
There
so
you go.
I'm sure that there was like there is a lot of interest in that, and then because like I'm sure also that like the studios have kind of demographics on what people are watching, and then they funnel
Yeah.
money and like the really high end. Highly paid
Actresses and
actors and
stuff.
actresses into these categories, and then
Oh,
that ends up
God.
being the most high quality pornography. So it ends
does,
up being
yeah.
kind of also what's more watched because that ends up being the highest quality pornography, and I think it's kind of a self-perpetuating system in a way. But I
It's
also
like a cycle, you think?
yeah, I think partially it's that, and also yeah, I think that people just are interested in things that are taboo, and also I think that. It's a kind of morally neutral, like, to have sex with like your stepmom if you're an adult.
How would you feel to be like one of those actors
I don't know.
or actresses?
I don't think they give a shit.
I don't think I
honestly.
ever thought I'd sit in a room where someone validated that you could have sex with your stepmom.
Stepmom, yeah.
That's
Oh,
it.
I think
I
it's
think-
morally neutral also.
I think if
Morally
you're an adult,
neutral.
I would
okay, I
even
think
say morally good.
We are proud
No, I
supporters
know-
of Woody Allen.
no,
by the
no,
way.
no,
Hey.
no, no, no.
Different.
There's-
Absolutely different. Yeah.
There's a big difference between
There's a
like
big difference between Woody
children,
Allen
between like grooming
and
someone
fake-
from
and
children.
fake and acting. Yeah.
Kaylee
No, no,
can
no, no,
actually,
no,
Kaylee can
not
make
even.
Kaylee
Not
can make
even
a pretty
acting.
good incest argument.
Not
Ready?
even acting.
Ready?
I'm talking
She'll-
in real
I'm
life.
scared.
She'll talk about in real life and
Yeah.
she'll justify it. Ready? Ready?
In real life, I'm saying there's a big difference between children being involved or even grooming being involved. I'm even saying like even if like you were like a step siblings and
Right.
you knew each other since you were 5, that's messed up. Even if you wait till you're adults, I would say that's messed up because
Although I'm
there's
curious-
like grooming and you knew each other since you were kids. That's
Oh,
probably
okay,
pretty
okay.
fucked up
Do
in
you
my
feel
in,
this-
my in my opinion.
Do you feel the same way though about like people who are like, oh, we grew up together, we've known each other since elementary school, and then we dated, and then we
Ooh.
married? Not that's
Now
No,
not
Jordan's
no, no, no.
arguing for incest.
No,
Now
no,
No,
Jordan's
no, 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 that's not what I'm saying. Don't.
No, because
He
you
was bringing
weren't.
up a pretty good
No,
point,
because
though.
you weren't like literally
Not a good
like
point,
sleeping
but
in
a
the
good
same
argument.
house every night.
That's
You didn't have
true.
like family dynamics that were totally different.
Yeah.
I think it's different.
Yeah.
But I think that like meeting someone as an adult who through some happenstance happens to be like your family member, like a step sibling, or even I think your family member who you can't have a child with. Like if you're like twins
Two
that were
gay
separated at
dudes.
birth,
Right.
and then you like meet
Dude.
later in life, and like
if
you're
I
like
found
like
my twin,
chances?
if I found my twin, I would never stop 69ing him.
Dude.
It would just that'd be all we would do.
That's
is we
your
just
that's your
What are the
preference.
chances
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
you two both
69ing him.
yes.
what are the chances of like you two both being like twins? First of all, identical twins, separated at birth, and then both being gay. Like
for each other, because it's
Yeah.
me, and I know what my biology is, and I'm horny for me.
Okay, but what if he
Scooter
was
does have some
straight?
weird attachments on his
You ever
mirror.
think like, I mean, that's one of those cases where it's like, I mean, I have to fuck you because this is once in a lifetime. But
Right.
neither of us want to do this.
This is
Yeah.
We don't want
masturbation
it.
at this point.
Every time that I see, like, every time someone talks about 69ing, I just imagine two people doing so, and then they just start rolling like Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, I imagine that would just,
Infinitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like you both
Faster
sit in
and
like
faster.
a large tire.
oh my god, you're
Begin
such
the
a
act, and then
virgin.
someone pushes the tire down a hill.
I like how I called you the virgin.
You did what?
I said, "Oh my god, you're such a virgin." For like the whole, just like the imagine, just like immediately, it's like, "Oh man, this sex thing reminds me of video games."
That is a pretty fucking loser move. That's
No, that's fine. I get you. I totally agree with that. Honestly,
Yeah. The sex thing reminds me of video games. My favorite Twitter memes right now are just anything that involves gamers not having rights.
Yeah.
yeah, those are hilarious.
Most
I love
suppressed
watching
race.
gamers get angry. Yeah,
suppressed
you're
race
just getting
gamers.
angry about stupid things.
Gamers are the most oppressed race, actually.
Gamers are the most annoying people on the internet, I would say.
There's a
Yeah.
distinction. I think there's like casual gamers, and then
yeah,
there's like
maybe.
the elitist gamers. And I think elitists of anything is really bad.
I think elitist gamers are the ones that say there are casual gamers, and then there are real gamers.
Absolutely. I hope that
Yeah,
picked up my bird.
Tate.
Sekiro
No.
doesn't need an easy mode. You just need to fucking get good at video games.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
Or all those people. Were you watching?
You
What was
shook
that
your head.
thing?
Are you disappointed
I'm not.
in me?
I'm not gonna take you on a gamer argument on
Oh,
our
no, I'm
podcast. So it's gonna
sorry.
become a
I
whole
don't mean
thing.
to- I don't mean to draw this
No,
line
it's
in the
okay.
sand somewhere.
What? Wait, what was that game? Did you see that the other day with the someone like figured out a cheat code or how to cheat in some game?
Oh yeah,
and
and then that guy
everyone-
responded.
Freaked out at them, and they're like, "How dare you mess with the integrity of this video game?
Yeah.
You son of a bitch!"
You didn't
cheated
just cheat the game. You
yourself.
cheated
Yeah,
yourself.
you cheated yourself.
So,
You're like, actually, it's just a video game, man.
That's such a backwards thing. Back in the day, people were like, "Oh, how the fuck do I break this game?" Like they were just like looking for ways to destroy stuff. That's where speedrunning came from. They're
I
just like,
fucking
how do-
love speedrunning.
yeah.
Mhm.
Have you
you
seen
seem
the?
like the type of guy who
Yeah.
loves speedrunning.
I didn't know I did until I started watching Summoning Salt. You ever seen his stuff?
No.
He does like just 20 to 30 minute retrospectives about the history of how speedrunning in a particular category came to be.
H. Bummer
Gotcha.
Guy has a really good video about speedrunning.
Yeah. That
I
was
love
another one
his.
that like right when I was getting interested into it.
Mhm.
Speedrunning is sick. It's like it's weird though when I see like speedruns of certain games that like are generally difficult, like Dark Souls and stuff like that. It's weird to me because it's like it feels less like they're actually struggling and more like they know exactly what they're doing. So like arguably they're probably the best players of that game ever. Like
Yeah.
because they have figured out the exact way to beat it.
Oh, totally.
I'm doing pretty much like speed running, like but I'm doing it for my life, and I'm just trying to get this shit over with as fast as I fucking can. So it's like it's all about just like when you spawn, it's just like how
Spawn.
fast can you get a gun and fucking shoot yourself and end it all.
That's an any percent. By
And
the
it's,
way.
and it's hard.
Life speedrun.
It's hard because like you're a baby, you don't know how to talk. How are you gonna get a gun if you don't talk? So you need to like learn to read. You need to learn to like
No, that's easy.
get the
shit.
certification.
God, you're not looking at the bigger picture. There's fucking scalpels in that room.
Yeah. No, you just got to
Oh.
do
Fall
a
on
hospital
them,
skip.
dipshit. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the whole bit about doing a backflip underneath a table and landing at your fucking 6th grade graduation.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I rolled a 6. I guess that's pretty good luck. I have leukemia.
Was the thing I ran into the corner of the wall at 4 miles per hour and then I teleported to my fucking coffin. That was the whole bit.
There's a single frame during birth where if you happen to get your umbilical cord around your neck,
Oh my
and you
god.
run it early, you
Oh
can
my
get to a
God.
credit skip for
That
your
was
life.
a movie about that. Credits.
Oh my god.
No, there's actually a video about speedrunning life, and it's all about like this. They have like checked out lists, and it's like I don't remember what channel it is. If you look up speedrunning life, you'll find it. But it's like it's about like certain checkpoints, and one of them was like marriage. So like one of them orders like a male order bride,
Oh,
and then like the death was like he got like alcohol from the wedding or something like that, and he just fucking drank himself to death. And the other one was like I don't remember what the other thing
Have
was.
we-
but-
Beautiful.
Have we officially modernized the bucket list to being like a speedrunning checklist?
Yes. Just like normal stuff,
Oh,
like
remember that fucking
skydiving.
movie, The Bucket List,
Oh my
with
god.
like
Morgan
Morgan Freeman
Freeman.
and like
The white
Jack
guy.
Nicholas.
The white guy.
Nicholson?
Nicholas. You always get Jack Nicholas and Jack Nicholson mixed
Which
up.
one is the actor?
Who's
Nicholson.
Jack Nicholas.
Jack Nicholson.
He is a
pro
golfer.
All right, you guys want to hear my impression of Jack Nicholson
Yeah.
doing Steve Urkel?
Yeah.
Did I do that?
That's
All
pretty good.
You're welcome. All right.
It was like it wasn't over the top to where I was crying over it, but that was stunningly accurate. Where I just
I'm
kind of
hoping
wanted to
it
see
comes
more.
through in the audio.
It
better
was
than
like-
it did in the
It's
movie.
mostly the
uncomfortable.
face.
It was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a really good impression of like Jack Nicholson's character from The Shining
Yeah.
doing.
I mean, that's the
Steve
only
Urkel.
movie
That's
of
also
his
my
I've
favorite
ever
line
seen.
from The Shining.
Yeah,
He turns
it's all-
around, he opens the door and looks in and says, "Did I do that?" And she screams.
It's almost as
mirror
good as
just
my
said-
Bane impression.
What's like Urkel's?
I
cat-
love
All
hero
right,
that
let's
Bane
hear it. Let's
impression.
hear it. Let's hear some impressions. What do we got? What do we got?
I can't do any impressions.
Yes, you can.
Hey Lois, it's me, Fred Flintstone. I'm here to promote cigarette. I forgot about that. There's actually a really old Flintstones commercial where they're talking about smoking cigarettes, and they're like, "Yeah, smoking's the best, dude."
Dude, yeah.
Hey.
Remember when they
In
could just
Flintstones
advertise
language,
for
though.
cigarettes?
Yeah, the shit was
Yeah.
cool.
They would advertise for cigarettes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Absolutely.
so before my time. I've
Yeah.
never
Well,
seen a
that's-
Oh, I don't
cigarette
remember.
ad.
I'm saying I don't remember.
What were you saying?
What was I saying?
Yeah, about advertising for cigarettes.
It was like
Doctors
they would just
recommend.
they would pretend that doctors like them,
Mm.
and they would have characters that would like represent each cigarette company, and then most of these actors just ended up dying
From smoking.
From smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They used to let you smoke in hospitals, shit like that.
It's bullshit that you can't.
It's funny 'cause I still see
Yeah, you're
print
right.
advertisements. Like there's less restriction on being able to put in print. Like these cigarettes are fucking dope.
Yeah.
But like TV advertisements, I've never. Just the idea of somebody being
Seeing-
on screen
yeah.
being like Camelback.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Like
But now they pretty much advertise them because
smoke
the
of the
coolest,
generation.
the
Yeah,
coolest
right.
character in the TV show always is smoking a cigarette.
true,
So
yeah.
how's that not an
Have you ever seen
advertisement?
Breakfast Club?
Didn't Disney
yeah.
have like a ban a couple years ago? Like none of our characters will be smoking in our films anymore.
Yeah,
They
no
always
more
just smoke
smoking,
cigars.
just anti-Semitic imagery only.
Well, no, my favorite thing about it is like they didn't even do a good job for that because I remember when they first showed it was like Dumbo or some shit. I watched it once when I was a kid, and this scene stuck out. It was like when one of the cool kids was like smoking a cigar and like, or no, it wasn't Dumbo. It was fucking Pinocchio.
Pinocchio.
It was Pinocchio. thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. The transformation
the
furry
elephant
sequence.
smokes a cigar. No, but yeah, it was after he transforms and he like smokes a cigar and his face turns all green and he like looks like he's about to die. And I was like, oh, what the fuck? No,
I'm
not
never
doing-
gonna smoke, bro.
No. Meanwhile, I
Oh.
smoke 4 packs a day. Voice sounds great though. I don't know how I got away with
yeah,
that.
you have like pretty pink lungs and a great voice.
Yeah.
You were remarkably mature sounding for an 8-year-old.
Thank you.
Definitely what made me smoke was peer pressure.
Absolutely.
Oh, I love peer pressure and smoking. Honestly, and peer pressuring like another kid to start smoking is like one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, that's what got me on Adderall too. My doctor was like, "You really should take these." And I was just like,
Peer
"No,
pressure
man."
from my doctor.
My doctor for it was like, my parents were like, "Hey, listen, you're being a dick in class. Maybe you should start taking these little happy pills." And I was like, "All right."
That's
10
happened to
years-
Michael too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty evil.
They were like, you need
Yeah,
to
you got
sit
off
the
it before
fuck
me.
down in class. Take these
They
amphetamines,
helped,
please.
honestly.
I've communed with the pressured, but never the pressurers.
Ooh.
This is interesting. For somebody who's like, yeah, no, I changed some kid's life objectively for the worse by
Yeah,
giving them
actually,
a
that's a
vape.
good point. I don't think. I've
Okay,
ever done
one time someone told me that they were a smoker, and so I bought them a pack of cigarettes. And then turns out they weren't,
But they were trying to
but
be.
they were trying
that.
to
I don't think
be.
that counts.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
fooled me.
I don't think I've
There's
ever.
intent,
I
you
don't
know?
think I've ever actually got someone
Consent
to
and
start
intent.
smoking anything.
Yeah.
You
And
get
I'd
someone
seen
to
them
try it,
smoking
and they're
before,
just
but I
like,
think I turned them into like accidentally into like a regular smoker.
oh,
I feel bad about that.
I mean, I guess one of my friends like started smoking because he like wanted to hang out with me. But that kid was a fucking dick. I hope he gets cancer and dies anyways.
Oh my god.
Was
I
it
was
someone I don't
homeschooled.
like
I didn't have
either?
to deal with any of this.
Scooter, you're forgetting
Oh,
about
yeah,
the
yeah,
big
yeah.
one.
yeah,
sure.
yeah. See, it
Don't
doesn't
you
matter.
fucking
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
you got me on heroin?
Oh yeah, I feel bad about that.
I just wanted to hang out.
I thought I could hang,
when
bro.
you were doing it, You like put the little rubber band around your arm and slapped your hand a bit, and then you stuck that little needle in you, and you turned all
Give your
green.
bicep a high five, and yeah. I've done drugs.
I know what I'm
Sam,
talking about.
don't worry about it.
I know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what I'm.
We're on two different sides of the room right now. It's the people who have done every drug under the sea, and the people who have never touched a drug in their life.
And we're gonna do a cage match and see who wins.
You guys take heroin, and we'll be normal.
The
and we'll
ones
beat
with
the
the-
shit out of you.
It's the spry and young kids versus the ones with bones and brains that have been slowly damaged.
And we're winning the speed run, baby.
Yeah.
We got a head start on ya.
What doesn't kill me makes me deader.
Deader
Yeah.
faster.
Deader, fatter,
doesn't kill-
badder, strong.
What doesn't kill me speeds up the process.
Okay, we were talking about trying to hang. One time I gave a coworker a Zyn, which is like a nicotine pouch, because he told me that he used them and that he could hang, and he puked at work and had to go home.
You didn't want your like tiny little
Bro.
petite ass like
Yeah.
That's
showing him up.
That's
Yeah.
a me move.
He was like, oh man, can I have one of those? I was like, yeah, these are like 6 milligrams nicotine. Like, hopefully, it just like, it's kind of a lot. He's like, oh yeah, I've used those. I was like, okay, for sure. And then 15 minutes later, I came up to him. I was like, okay, if you start to feel like nauseated, just spit it out right away. He's like, oh yeah, I puked. I'm gonna go home. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
That's
okay.
funny you bring that up
Yeah,
because
don't worry,
Jordan
I
was
puked.
saying he never does this, but he did take me to this coffee place one time, and I got a cold brew, and my heart was racing, and I felt like I was having a caffeine overdose.
Oh my
So you
God.
did get me to do a caffeine overdose. So you are evil.
I did. I hear.
One of us. One of us. One of us.
Oh shit, his skin turned green like the rest of them.
Yeah.
Slowly transforming into an ass. Oh, wait, I already
For
am.
everybody that has
Aw.
met Skiwi and Cooter, I've messed that up before.
That's a pretty good typo.
It's me,
Yeah.
the old cooter.
For anybody who's met Kiwi and Scooter, they know that, but it's like a secret agreement. They know they have green skin, right? Like bright green skin.
And we
And-
just don't talk about it.
yeah, that's
We
why.
usually
Actually, no,
green
it's funny.
screen it
The-
out, yeah.
No, the green screen isn't green. It's red. Like people don't know that.
Yeah, we have to do a red screen because
Yeah.
we are green.
We still call
red
it a green screen, though,
Yeah.
just
Just
to
like-
keep it simple.
So
Yeah.
because of that, Jordan's skin just turned a mighty fine shade of green,
It's true.
and now I'm the only normal-looking person in the room.
Green by proximity.
Yeah.
It's a disease. You were talking about hanging too, and I.
Going back to hanging.
Gotta
No,
hang.
we
gotta
always just got to
hang.
talk about hanging. You know?
Hanging, you
It's
know?
just a couple friends hanging. That's all
Hanging.
this podcast is.
You know, get a couple ropes.
For the final podcast, we just start on chairs, and then by the end of it, it's just deadly quiet.
very, very rickety chairs. It's only our feet.
The listeners are wiping away tears like they finally won the speed run.
It's the laugh you lose challenge.
The chairs are rocking back and forth like halfway through. Like I slept. I'm like, oh, I got it. Don't worry about it.
I think the episode of this one should be called Speed Running. How do you feel about
I'm
that?
down to
Speed
that.
running.
Yeah.
What about the Unibomber? I can't say it now.
speed running? You.
Oh.
Unabomber speed run.
No, we just went over this with our last.
Our clip.
That was really funny. Unabomber speed.
How
I kind
fast
of
can we
stomped
get
on
this
that,
done?
but that was really funny.
I feel like that's most like serial killers. They're like, how quickly can I get this over with?
The
before
joining
I get
ISIS
found?
skip.
No! Oh no!
That's a different. I feel like that's a different like what's it called? Achievement. You know. Sorry, I was thinking like video game terms. I don't mean like literally.
I got
it's an
50
It's
achievement.
called a
gamer score
yoink.
for
I don't
joining
know. I
ISIS.
just heard that from my son earlier. I think
like
I yoinked the speed run. I'm not sure.
Thanks, Dad.
Did I get it? Did I get an
Thanks,
overkill?
He's saying something about our ping, and he was yelling at me.
Wow, I got a lot of strikes on this bowling game. I think I got a kill streak.
Oh my God. Jesus.
Oh, we should make a game about like bowling, but like it's tiny people, and when you hit them, they explode into like blood and shit.
Unfortunately, that already exists.
Fuck,
and it's Christmas
damn it.
themed. Yeah.
Oh.
Elf bowling. You ever played elf
Oh
bowling?
my God, elf bowling!
There's like 9 of them.
dude, that is like such a
How
throwback.
many times can you? Okay, what's the? There was an appeal of. There was either an appeal of elf bowling that got him to make 9 of them, or there's subtle changes. Like how much? How much can you change about elf bowling?
There was just so many glitches.
These elves are wearing red now.
Dude.
Like,
The physics in Elf Bowling 7, fucking perfect.
yeah.
They
They
jumped the
nailed
shark. They
it.
jumped the shark, dude.
They got too goofy with the later installments. Although I did prefer the story of the 9th one.
The story of Elf Bowling.
Jordan did the
What?
side laugh like a disappointed dad.
What could the story possibly be?
Santa's
Funny
had a
you
rough
ask,
day at
there
the
is
office.
one.
Okay,
course there is.
what's canon in elf bowling?
Yeah.
Santa's
Hold
pissed.
on, I'm gonna look this up. Where's my phone?
Santa
gonna
was
guess,
having a
like,
bad day.
yeah.
And
Santa's having a bad day. Is
It's-
Santa the bowler?
yes. Well, who else would it be? It's just
I
fucking
don't know,
Tim.
Mrs. Claus.
Why did you?
Think for 1 second, you fucking idiot.
It's not Timmy that he rode in. No, he
It's
rode
a
in on Santa's
reindeer.
sleigh. Timmy rode in on Santa's sleigh, and his goal is to fuck with Santa as hard as possible. So he kills all of his elves. Right?
Oh.
When he goes into
To
the
ruin
workshop, it's all
Christmas.
silent. There's blood everywhere, and Santa's like, "What happened?" And then Timmy, I don't know, fucks him.
Whoa.
Wait. What about?
Timmy's 24, by the way.
Oh, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
I put
But
myself in the
Santa's
eye.
like
yeah,
a
it's
million.
fine. He's still kidding. Yeah, he's still
Santa's a million years old. He shouldn't be fucking anyone except for people his age.
I don't think he was.
Who else is immortal?
Mrs. Claus, think for a fucking second. You idiot.
Why are they old? Why do they look
Jesus.
old?
How many
Did they-
times do I gotta cheat you this old
Did they become immortal when
Listen,
they
old
were
man,
old?
damn
Why
it.
do they look old forever? That would suck if you were immortal.
Yeah,
but
you're immortal, but
old.
you stuck at
Like,
old. God.
But stuck at old.
I think this
yeah.
is an already overdone bit, but like being immortal when you're old would suck because you're just like you can't for the rest of your life.
Your
the
dick
fucking,
doesn't work.
until the time back in the time you were older, right? You could just get terrible illnesses. You couldn't die, so you get terrible illnesses for a long time,
Mhm.
and then like you'd have to climb stairs until you have to like God, I can't wait till they invent like some sort of motorized stairs. Then they
Oh,
invent
yeah.
escalators.
Did you find it out?
I did.
Okay.
So I'll give you a dramatic reading of some select pieces of the Elf Bowling Wikipedia.
Hell yeah.
Here we go.
Bowling.
Elf Bowling is a computer game developed by N-Storm and released in 1998. Did you know? In the game, the player, as Santa Claus, attempts to knock down elves who are arranged like bowling pins. Plot.
Oh.
In Elf, there is a plot section.
Plot.
Overview.
God.
In
course.
Elf Bowling, Santa Claus gets revenge on his striking elves by using them. Oh, they're going on strike! I'll bet it was
so
based on
Santa's
the pun.
I thought he
gonna
was
get a
saying-
strike.
Yeah. It was that joke. They're like, hey, wait a minute.
When you said striking, I immediately thought like, oh, are they
Wow, this
handsome?
is like
They got like writers.
this
for
is really fucked
Yeah.
up. This is not
They
praxis.
put thought into this. During the
Striking.
game, the elves say phrases such as, "Is that all the balls you got, Santa?" When the player
What?
when the
my
player
God.
misses their first spare opportunity, or gutter ball in a silly sounding voice when a ball is rolled into the gutter. Other potential
Okay.
distractions for the user are a reindeer that walks up along the bowling lane that can be hit, in quotes for some reason, with the
Jesus.
bowling ball if the arrow is positioned to the far left, yada, yada, yada. The elves moon Santa, asking, "Who's your daddy?" as they do it.
Oh, fuck those elves.
Is this a rated R video game?
Both during the
It's so
game and
early,
after a
internet.
game finishes, the elves do a dance, shouting, "Elf, elf, baby," in reference to Vanilla Ice's song.
Yeah, we got it. We got it.
Here's
I love that. I love
You know the whole striking thing, like reindeers on strike. I'll give it to him.
Yeah.
Bad joke, but I'll give it to him. Elf, elf, baby. Holy shit!
terrible.
That is a stretch Armstrong.
Wait. Here's the sequel section. In the sequel to Elf Bowling, the elves return as they attempt to go on an island vacation with Old Kringle. Dingle Kringle, a failure.
Dingle Kringle is the fail child. He's the fail son of the Santa universe.
That's exactly it.
You can't
Dingle
just drop
Kringle.
Dingle Kringle and not explain. So we got to know.
Dingle Kringle, a failure as a used ice salesman, is Santa's elder brother who Mrs. Claus takes a shine to.
What? Is Santa getting cucked by Mr. Dingle Kringle?
The next sentence is, the brothers make a double or nothing wager
For the
on his wife.
Holy
in the game
shit.
of shuffleboard. The
This
winner
is
gets
dark.
the title of Father Christmas.
This is Joe Biden all over again. Holy shit.
Oh my god.
Or not Joe Biden, but Bo and Hunter.
Bow and
The
Hunter,
Biden
yeah.
Yeah, Joe
brothers.
didn't marry. Joe didn't marry his brother's wife.
I'll just scroll down to the last section,
Yeah, look
which is
into it if you're interested.
We'll talk
other
about it.
elf bowling games.
Just Google Hunter Biden.
I love. Okay,
You'll
so
be very
that
happy.
reminded me. I love when Wikipedia articles on stupid shit have like the best, have like the most interesting way of wording things. Have you
Oh, yeah,
heard
no,
of
they-
the,
it's like this is
Oozinator?
all deathly serious.
Have you heard of the Oozinator?
The Oozinator, I have not.
Ooh, okay.
My favorite is when Wikipedia articles, like the Wikipedia trolls, just go onto Wikipedia and fuck with people's shit.
Yeah. Okay, so
I
here's
hope someone does that to me someday.
Scooter was born in the Dominican Republic of Congo.
Where he was gay with his brother.
Wait, can I just read 2 last
Oh,
lines
yeah,
here
yeah,
from
yeah.
Elf Bowling? I
Yes,
just want to wrap
please.
up.
Yeah,
So there were 8 games. That was a
Holy
guess, but
shit.
I was correct.
Oh
So the-
yeah, it was a total guess. Yeah, no, Jordan's like got like a fucking
He was one
merch
off.
at home.
he was one off, to be fair.
Elf Bowling 3 involves slinging elves in Mrs. Kringle's pink bra onto distant icebound targets.
What?
And the very last one is
Bizarre.
Elf Bowling Hawaiian Vacation. Elf Bowling in exotic places.
They go to
In Elf Bowling 6, Santa's brother fucks his wife, and they have a bowl off to see who wins. And now we're in Hawaii.
Island
Oh my
vacation.
God.
It's
Island
all a
vacation
beach.
time.
These
Okay.
elves need to unionize.
The elves need to. They were trying to.
They
Yeah.
went on
Santa put a stop to
strike,
that.
and that's what happened.
My favorite.
Santa's a union buster.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
Boycott
Santa.
I always
Santa.
kind of
Boycott
figured.
Santa, man.
War on Christmas.
Yeah, honestly, we
Santa
need to really
Claus,
ramp up
Santa
the war on
Coke.
Christmas.
I know, it's time we really get the War on Christmas going.
Yeah.
You know.
Whoa. Okay, hold on. Sorry, this is really fucking crazy.
Okay, keep going.
Elf Bowling 1 and 2 is the name of this section. Unauthorized and without permission from copyright and trademark owner Matthew Lichtenwalter, CEO of N-Storm, a subsidiary of Commotion Interactive Inc., the first 2 Elf Bowling games were released by Ignition Entertainment for the Nintendo DS and Game Boy Advance.
No.
Yeah, the pack was universally panned by critics and is considered one of the worst video games of all time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it ranks as one of the lowest scoring games at both GameSpot and Metacritic, receiving only a 1.4 out of 10 at GameSpot and 12 out of 100 at Metacritic.
This
Oh.
is absolutely fascinating.
I want
me.
to try this game now.
That was like
I'm sorry. This is the last. I promise, the actual last.
How did that get approved on
The
Nintendo?
section is called film adaptation.
What? No.
Shut
They
the
put
fuck
it. They
up.
put it in some Christmas movie. That's probably what they're
Shut
talking
the
about.
fuck up.
There was a film based on the movies, or I'm sorry, based on the games released in 2007 entitled Elf Bowling, the movie, The Great North Pole Elf Strike.
No.
Absolutely
Nuh-uh.
amazing.
The film was widely panned by critics and audiences alike.
We need to watch this.
We're watching Elf
guys,
Bowling.
We
Guys.
are watching this. Next podcast that we do together is just going to be us watching this movie, I think.
Yeah, just the audio, like the audio blurred and like slightly off, so people can never sync it up right. The movie.
Yes.
No, imagine though, like, fucking, you create this because that was pre Newgrounds. Like that was before like any of like that sort of stuff was more popular. You know,
I'm curious if Elf Bowling was like a Newgrounds thing. Like
it might
if-
have been later, but Newgrounds was '99, I think, if I
I
remember right.
played Elf Bowling on like one of those weird like websites with all the dumb flash
Oh
animation
yeah, like
games.
Miniclip or bonus.com.
Yeah, totally. Like
Addicting games.
I'm 100% sure I played that with
Albino
and like
Black
the like
Sheep.
like with the kitty cannon, like other games like that.
Yeah,
That was
I
probably,
remember
Totally.
That was probably Newgrounds.
balloons.
Yeah. 100% I played that game.
To switch the topic from Elf Bowling, I have the
Please.
Oozinator, and it's basically just I really like when Wikipedia articles have really clever wording. So the Oozinator. The Oozinator is a toy water gun manufactured by Hasbro Incorporated. It is a member of the Super Soaker family, which includes 10 other squirt gun toys. It gained notoriety after its release due to its ability to discharge a viscous compound that resembled human semen,
What?
What?
As
No.
well- It's better. Yeah.
Shut up.
as well as its suggestive television advertisements that depicted said compound being forcefully ejected onto unwilling children. That is verbatim. If you look up Oozinator
No.
Wikipedia, that is what it says.
So it's pretty much like,
It's fetish material.
oh, it's like a porn thing.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
at no
it was
point-
real. It was made by Hasbro. Hasbro's not a
What
porn
is
company.
Hasbro thinking?
I don't know. They're probably thinking, hey, let's make some foamy, fun toys for the summer.
They're probably just a bunch of all billionaire pedophiles at Hasbro. You know they are.
Like I'm amazed that it's not easy to make a commercial. There's a shit ton of work that goes into like
Right?
Like
any
so
of
many people
those.
have to pass off on it and be like, "This is normal. Like this looks, this looks totally. This passes."
Good to me.
Yeah.
It's good to me. Maybe
No,
there was
they're
like, a
like, no,
secret
that looks
edit.
like they're legitimately shooting cum onto children. Can we not? There's no concern about this.
Yeah,
That's
no
gonna be
one,
clipped.
nobody was like. What's funny is like know there was like some new intern that was like, this looks like they're coming on kids.
Yeah.
But like they don't want to get fucking fired because there was all these like higher up guys that were like, sounds good. This is gonna be a fun new toy for the summer.
It's
and they were
already
like,
gone.
it.
It's already gone out to like
We'll launch it with the
manufacture.
same date
Yeah.
as the slip and slides.
Yeah.
I like to imagine the guy who was complicit in naming it was like caught between the moral dilemma of, I have to name this so I get paid, but like, what do I name this? He's just got like a list of
A moral
names.
dilemma.
Let's
of,
name it something that's going
well,
to get caught extremely quickly so we
Right.
can stop this.
Like-
the Oozinator.
You got to make it like good enough so that it can go to market but also funny enough that everyone knows it's a jizz
Right.
cannon.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like
it can't
he
just be the
definitely.
Combinator. you
Is
know?
it just like plausible deniability? You like at that point where
I
they were
think-
like they want to make something that people will be like, oh, this is hilarious. I'm gonna get this for like the frat parties, and it's gonna be so fucking funny. But they have to pretend, yeah. But they have to like pretend that they're like, we just didn't realize it.
Oh, really?
You know?
I didn't know.
I didn't know. Sorry, I thought it was innocent.
It's just pervert. It's just perfect proof that inventors.
Perfect pervert proof.
Perfect
That's
pervert
it.
Jordan
proof.
coming in with the edible slip.
Edible.
Edible slip.
Edible. Wait, shit.
Take a bite
edible.
off that edible
God
slip.
damn it.
I was trying to make a joke about how like smart people don't have sex, so they wouldn't have known. But yeah,
Yeah, sex is
No,
for
rich people
stupid
don't have sex. They have people that do that for them.
yeah
I've been
exactly.
saying that.
Sex is
ever-
just for dumb frat boys.
Sex is for,
I've been
for
saying,
poor
yeah,
people.
I've been saying that ever since my dick broke. I've been
Rich
sex
people
is
don't
for
have
idiots.
sex.
Coming? Shit sucks.
Why would I exert myself when I can just sit back and watch people do it for me?
I really like your rich person voice. That's really good.
Hey, why didn't you bring that up when I asked for impressions?
Because I don't like being called out for impressions.
Yeah, what? You just do the funny
Guys,
bit,
let's do
funny
impressions.
man.
I'll do Family
Okay.
Guy. Hi,
You're a
my name's
comedian?
Peter Griffin.
Tell us a joke.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Do sell us
Hey,
a
Scooter,
joke.
be funny.
All right, ready?
yeah.
AIDS.
You tried so hard. You should-
Tate, I can't believe you laughed at that. I'm
just-
so angry
I laughed
at you.
because of his stupid dad laugh. I'm
Stab
sorry.
you.
AIDS
Throw
isn't funny,
this.
but his stupid dad laugh is.
Yes.
Exactly the
Yeah,
point.
You doing like your Seth Rogen laugh at your own?
I feel like
Joke.
you're doing it for the
I don't know. I just
but
something
Jordan's-
is something hilarious about three people looking at me, telling me to say something funny, and then saying
Just-
something really dumb, and then
It's-
laughing, and then me laughing made me laugh even more.
I'm really easy. Although, if it's any consolation, it's really easy to make me laugh. So,
All right, let's see.
all right, go ahead.
Let's say something like just not funny at all, just like super serious, like religion.
Tate,
That was come on.
That's
alright.
his delivery,
I'm
man.
angry at you.
Something serious.
Keep
like
it together, man.
religion. No, I don't know. I'm more partial to the delivery than the actual context most of the time. So it's like, if people
about
say it
timing.
in a funny way, I don't mind it. Like, it just, that's mainly where it gets me.
I used to. He's still alive, but I had a friend named Andres, and we used to hang out all the time, and we would do exactly that, where he was so good at saying normal things with this
Yeah.
stupid delivery that got me to laugh every time.
Yeah.
I remember specifically I'd never heard of the word spleen until we discovered it at the same time, and he would just look me dead in the eye and just go spleen. And I don't know why it always killed me. It was the funniest shit.
You know
but I
what?
always think
Jordan just like didn't know words. Jordan's like 20. Like
And he's
Jordan's like, what's
cracking his ass
cum
up.
and spleen? What the fuck, dude? What are all these fucking words,
You're
bro?
like on the
Spleen and
you're like
cum and
Spleen and G balloon.
You're like on
Garbage and
you're like on a laptop at your friend's house, like on the floor. You're both 24, and you're like eating like juice boxes and eating juice. You're drinking juice boxes.
eating juice.
nice
Take a
talking,
Capri Sun and just
fuckface.
dig your teeth into it.
you're like fucking spoon.
That's not
and
respecting
like,
the pouch, Jared.
You didn't respect the pouch. What are some of the things that you guys look back on that you used to laugh at and wonder why you thought that was funny? Like, I think about old YouTube comedy and how,
Annoying orange.
oh yeah, like shit,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
the fact that Fred used to be the most popular
my
thing
God,
on
yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah,
I
I
was
was too
obsessed.
old. I was too old. Like,
Yeah.
it was already lame to me by the time that came out.
I wasn't allowed to watch YouTube until I was like 16.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was a
oh
goody
yeah,
goody.
Jordan, you
Adam
were like
Sandler,
probably the
for
only
sure.
person I know
Yeah.
that was more sheltered than me.
Yeah.
More sheltered than me.
I
Too.
didn't really realize how sheltered I was until I was not sheltered.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You never really
I
get
knew
it
I
until
was
you're
sheltered.
like, oh wow.
I knew
what
I
the-
was sheltered, and I was
Yeah.
fucking pissed about it.
Yeah.
I absolutely, because I was friends with people that weren't sheltered, and I was like, God damn it!
Why can't I have?
Why
an
can't
Xbox?
I have sleepovers? My mom's a bitch, you know. I was like really upset about
Mine
it.
was more like, why can't I play rated M games while I'm 4? You
No,
know?
same, yeah.
I really didn't watch an R-rated movie until I was like 17, until I was legally allowed to do so.
I think.
Jordan's
it's
like,
funny.
now I-
God.
My dad's a funny guy.
That's heavy.
So he showed me movies. I have a really good memory, and he showed me movies, especially from when I was younger. And he showed me movies that fucked me up when I was a kid. Like for some reason, when I was really young, I had terrible nightmares about Jurassic Park. And like I must have been like 4 or something like that. Terrible nightmares about like Jurassic Park and Twister, because it wasn't. And like my parents were just
That's
Twister.
a terrifying movie.
Yeah, well, like especially for a kid, because it's like, you know, it's it's real. You know, tornadoes are real. But like when you
No, they're not. Do you still believe that shit?
You
Time to
believe in
grow up.
tornadoes?
I don't know why that made me think of the John Mulaney bit where he's like, things that I was worried about as a kid that as an adult, not as much of a concern, like quicksand.
Yeah.
Not as much of a problem as I thought it was gonna be.
No, they have tours to take you out to quicksand and teach you how to get out of it because you can get stuck in it, but like they're just
Where?
like they're just sinking. I don't know. I just saw a video of it.
Your American exceptionalism is showing.
Guys, we're gonna go on a quicksand tour today. We're gonna go out and pretend to be in trouble.
It's all just like it's
like
just like
emotional
fake sand.
tourism of like.
There's like hidden cameras in the bushes to make sure no one gets hurt. It's like it's like a tourist place.
We're so cozy in our homes that we're gonna go out and pretend to be in danger for fun.
I'll show you.
We're gonna
later.
camp
It was
with
like,
no cell phones, you guys.
Oh my god.
Camping is the funniest shit. Like, guys, what
Who
if we
does that?
What if we pretended to survive?
We'll
What
go
if
kill
we-
a deer for food, and then like 10 minutes later, they're like, "Oh, we're out of hoagies."
Yeah, you just.
Nobody brought a lighter. Are you fucking kidding me?
It's just like a barbecue out in the woods
They
getting
start it with
mosquito
their
bites.
lighter.
Well, but you're talking about your parents. My parents had really weird standards for movies, like about R-rated movies.
Yeah.
Like my parents would have some R-rated movies that even though like Mormons have a pretty hard and fast rule about R-rated movies, some Mormons don't. And my parents would say like no R-rated movies except for the ones they liked, like The
Right.
Matrix.
Yeah.
Was fine, and like Gladiator.
Is the Matrix rated R?
Yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
And
I haven't even
Gladiators.
seen it because
Gladiator
of
was
that.
fine.
I haven't seen it either.
And like my dad let me
Because
watch
it's
like
hard.
Saving Private Ryan when I was like 16 or whatever.
Gladiator, that's so funny. My dad and I I totally forgot. My dad and I watched that together when I was like 14. That was
Yeah,
one of
see,
the first
Gladiators-
movies I
Gladiators
saw that
rated
was
My
rated
dad,
R.
I was watching Meet the Spartans when I was like 13
Yeah.
or some shit.
But like
I
there
watched
were a bunch
South
of
Park when I was like
Remember there was-
7.
I remember they were
but they
sweating
were-
Gatorade or something like that. Something stupid. That movie's fucking terrible.
yeah.
Sorry.
But there were a bunch of like PG-13 movies that I couldn't watch.
Mhm.
Like if it had any kind of
Juno.
sexual
right?
themes at all
Yep.
in any way, shape, or form.
Grew up in a
It
very
was
anti-sexual household.
so oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
Yeah.
anything, and it was PG-13. Even when I was 15, 16,
Yeah.
but there was any mention of sex in it, my parents would say
That's
hard
weird.
no.
Like you guys were all like had like weird like sexually repressive like childhoods. Like it was weird. Like my family was very pro sex. Like I fucked my dad all the time.
I was waiting for the bring it around to the end.
Sorry.
No, I was like I realized recently that I wasn't as sheltered as I thought. I was just a pussy. Like
Take sheltered himself.
yes, I absolutely did. Well, like I think that there's something to be said. I think there's something about OCD that does that. You get like obsessive about certain things that like could bug you or get you in trouble.
Oh yeah.
So like I totally like censored myself a lot. But like thinking back on it, like my dad had South Park just like out. He didn't watch it very often, but he would like had it, and he had like the CD of his like, if you kids watch this, your eyes will explode or some stupid like thing like that. But like he showed me a bunch of like PG-13 stuff. He was cool. Like he's taking me to some rated R movies as long as he was there. But it was like, and he showed me South Park when I was in 6th grade. Like he wasn't that sheltering. I just like felt bad about watching it, I guess. So, I just
So
kinda
you're
sheltered
just
myself.
a nerd, I
Yeah,
guess.
absolutely.
That's weird.
Born bred nerd.
Not
Yeah.
hard to
Born bred.
believe.
I
but-
can relate to that. I think whenever I was allowed to do things, I
Yeah.
still wouldn't. Cause
Yeah.
Like it's funny that you mentioned the OCD thing, like a control OCD, like a sense of like I want to be in control of myself because
Yeah.
otherwise I'm like doing
just-
poorly in some
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
my parents said that I'm not allowed to do this, and if I do this, then I'm gonna like die or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
See, I had none of that. Whatever attitude you guys had.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
would just like
whatever.
do whatever. I would like just sneak out every night.
Yeah.
Just try to piss off my parents in whatever way possible and exert whatever kind of control I had over my own life by just saying, you guys cannot control me in any way and I will do whatever I want, and just ruined my life absolutely by doing that.
Yeah, I
That
had
sounds
no.
fun.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
about sneaking out the night before I move out.
That's a good idea.
I might do that just
That'd be
because I never
fun.
did it,
He has like a
I
sip
just
of
go to
beer.
fucking Denny's by myself and get some food and come home and go to bed. It's like 12.
I'm so sad that I missed out on that because I can't sneak out. I just am going out.
It's true.
You
You just
Sleep
live on your own.
Sneak
now,
out
yeah.
on your
Ship
dog.
has sailed.
Yeah.
All
Sneak
right,
out your dog
everybody.
if you move really quiet. She'll never know.
It's been an hour. That's our usual runtime.
Cool.
Gotcha.
Any closing statements? Wonderful to have you on, Jordan. Hopefully
Thank
we
you.
do it again soon.
Hell yeah.
Now that
was
you're
really fun.
a Boise person.
Yeah.
I am. Dude, I pulled a sick trick today whenever I was playing a gig. I was doing just like an acoustic guitar, like restaurant gig.
Uh-huh.
And I never thought about doing this until I was playing. I was like, hi, I'm Jordan. I always say, like, I'm from Twin Falls, Idaho. And I started to say, I'm like, but I'm not anymore. Now I'm in Boise. And if you guys want to help me pay my rent, now that I live here in Boise, you can put money in the box. Like I always try to come up with things to say for tips.
Very smart.
I got the most tips I've ever
Ah.
gotten.
I'm gonna remember that.
There we
Quit
go.
your job, music only.
That's right. I
We'll
was
start
like,
busking
I
and
moved
do
to
that.
Boise to be a musician, and I need help paying my rent. So if you guys want to help, and I made a lot of money today.
Hell
That's what
yeah.
we
We
call
should
it,
just
cheap pop.
all pool up and then go live in LA in a 10-person 10 people in like a place like this, and then just all try and be musicians and actors, and then just when it fails, we'll all come home.
Yeah, exactly.
When it fails.
Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna.
Well, we're gonna
make
make it.
No,
Yeah. Okay.
not at all.
I don't think we'll make it. We can make something cool though.
We
But, like,
start
we
the
gotta
whitest
try.
We gotta
Brockhampton
try,
collective
yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Brockhampton Collective.
We have to come up because it's exclusively white children, so we have to come up with something not as cool as Brockhampton. What would be a
Right.
more appropriate? Like if we came up with a collective like that, what would the name
Weezer.
of it be?
That is white. All right. Goodbye, everybody. See you next time.